So, it's been a while since I have talked about Time on the Line. Well, there's been a few comments, and so because of that, I have decided to answer some questions. I have a lot written for the series. I don't know if I hope I'll be able to return to it. I mean, I wanted to do it this year, I just don't know. It's just really mostly about finding someone else to be able to record. That said, we do have a whole document of, yeah, that's better. We do have a whole document of, questions, all questions made by Parker/Zelda. Okay. First couple of episodes, what were they about? Mainly 3 after the pilot. So I didn't make the episodes in order. I didn't write the episodes in order of when they would come out. I just wrote ideas as they came to me. There was 2 that were going to be. There was 2 episode 2s. One was an episode that was based on Lead the Meerkats. I was stuck in a desert world basically, and so Isaiah was stuck in a desert world. Don't confuse the character with me. Isaiah was stuck in a desert world with the Amnesiac, and so they used tactics learned by playing the WiiWare game, Lead the Meerkats, a very niche game that no one has really heard of probably. It was one of those ones that people got the free demo of, but I actually bought the game of and played. And that was the first episode 2, first concept for episode 2. And that one I was recording when we went on a trip to Texas as a family, but the person I had recording it messed up the recording, and most of the recording was the recording was going when it was not supposed to be going and not going when it was supposed to be going. So they accidentally must have pressed the button once, the record button once, and not noticed, and then not checked to see the red dot the rest of the time. So it was basically the times where it was supposed to be between recording scenes, it was recording in. But there was a couple of scenes that I can show from that one. I can play some clips from that one, because that one I was recording, and I'll probably do that right now. Ooh, there it is. Well, that was hard work. Boy, am I sure thirsty. Too I don't have any water. Well, anyway, so the next thing they do in Lead the Meerkats is they look for food. Now, this is usually done by looking at bush, and there's bugs, scorpions, lizards, all kinds of food. I wonder if there's any of those around here. That? But that's not bugging anyone. Fine, I'll go beetle it up. But only because it's part of the game. That bug really hit the spot. I almost feel sorry for the little guy. Well, anyway, I guess we could go to sleep now. What's there? Hey, look, it's another meerkat. What? I'm not gonna attack another meerkat. Oh no. It's the rival meerkat boss. Oh no, I forgot about that part of the game. At the end, you have to go through and take over all the rival meerkat backpack burrows. The meerkats that sent you over to the dry side of the desert. Fine, but only to complete all the parts of the achievements in the game. You. Whoa. Yeah, it might have been a good thing that these never got released. They're not great. I mean, the audio quality sucks real bad, but yeah. 2 seconds, and then stop recording. so there's that constant buzzing in the background. I think that's from the power lines. So basically that one was just kind of doomed from the get-go. So here's the intro song of the intro song for the Leave the Meerkats episode that I did.
Look at this big mess we're in. Don't know where to go or where we've been. We gotta get a safe place to sleep. No, this trip ain't as fun as I thought it'd be. PLOT device in hand. I gotta admit I ain't a fan of traveling across this desert land. Yet it seems for now we're walking on sand.
And then the other one that I had, I mean, there's a lot here. That one's bad. I think this is Credits on Sand is the same song but better.
Looks like a big mess we're no longer in. We know where to go and where we've been. We got ourselves a place to sleep. The trip more fun than I thought it'd be. And we made it through the night. I'm happy things turned out alright. So now that we are through this flight, our future is looking bright. Well, I don't know if I'd recommend that you try it. We meant to survive using skills of a meerkat. We made it through this day. Things will all turn out okay, because we know the way now. I guess what I'm trying to say is, got an A on this test. So though we had to eat insects, you know, despite what you'd have guessed, I'm really not feeling stressed. I now understand we can't survive this land, so let's just keep walking on sand.
So, yeah, I mean, I'd like to think I've gotten a little bit better at singing since then. And this other episode 2 concept was based on Fast Racing League, another WiiWare game. I wanted to do a niche WiiWare game for the. I wanted to do a lot of niche subjects, not just. The series was not just going to be games. Like, it was just going to be subjects and like even just general plot episodes that didn't have like any specific like gimmick. But yeah, the other one was going to be Fast Racing League on WiiWare, and that one was going to be a timeline where everything was a giant race course basically, and so the car, like that little red car, was going to be driving along on the racetrack with, like, you know, light speed air speeders or whatever they have in Fast Racing League. And that was what I showed. What was recorded was what I showed from the what I posted. Christmas episode. There's multiple concepts for a Christmas episode. One of them was, both of them were parodies. One of them was parody of It's Wonderful Life, but instead it's about me wishing I never became a modder. Well, I mean, Isaiah wishing he never did modding. But I kind of scrapped that idea because I didn't want to blur the line too much between stuff I've done in my past and stuff that this Isaiah character did. The other concept was, and this one I'm not going to share too much about because it's still kind of on the table for next Christmas. Maybe if I'm able to do it. It's one where we find where there's a timeline where Isaiah's sister Amber hoards all the copies of Phineas and Ferb across Second Dimension, and different Isaiahs come to teach her how that's not how that leads to bad. I don't want to say too much, but I actually kind of like the concept. It actually gets into some, like, despite the silly concept, it actually gets into some of the deeper lore with the amnesiac. It starts hinting at it. Mr. Butterfly's full legal name. I thought about this. Butts Edison Butterfly. Edison's the middle name. Butts is the full name. It's not a nickname. It's Butts Edison Butterfly. What were some scrapped concepts for the series? I already went through that. One of the concepts that was scrapped but might come back was the idea of using small props like clay figures and stuff and imposing those onto the episode as like if there was like some kind of monster I wanted to use, or like a setting that like you could show from the outside. That one I couldn't at times because I didn't have the ability to like do that stuff. But now, I mean, I have a 3D printer. I have more experience with woodworking and stuff, and so I might be able to actually do that if I was able to return to the series. Main questions. What are you been to episode 1's final product? Scuffed. Fun to make. It's fun to make. I definitely feel like if I had the time and the people around, I could make it better now. But is Buzz Butterfly alive? Since I'm considering the series, I can't give too much spoilers. We'll say there is a point where that might come into question, I guess. Was the series going to have a proper end? I was going to have season finales. I didn't know if I was going to continue after I did that. But the season finale, I mean, if I ever return to it, I still have the idea for it. So I mean, I'll just say yes. I mean, kind of. It was going to have a proper end, but also leave room to continue the series if I want. Like, I wasn't gonna have like a 100% like this is just the end, no more. What other Isaiahs were planned? 343434 Isaiah is the main one we follow. The Wii Sports serial killer Isaiah 776087 is the timeline he's from. Butts, I will reveal, is originally from timeline 000000, and is currently in timeline 288837. And then there was now this one I did. Do I have numbers for these ones? The Time Council. But it's a group of Isaiahs that are related to a bunch of different multiversal escapades. I think I changed the name of Time Council. That was a draft. I mean, that seems very generic to say Time Council. Isaiahs that are going to come to Ambernies or Scrooge in the Christmas special were all from the Time Council. And that, I'll just say that. I'm not going to share any more about that. Consider using AI for anything? No. I mean, my personal opinions, I haven't been very secretive about my opinions on AI. I hate it. Though I am not... I did use AI back when it first started. Because back then I didn't really think... Like, back then it was just like a funny gimmick, right? It wasn't like... People weren't thinking it was going to be what it is. I would never use it now. I generated, like... when it was, like, goofy, weird-looking images that didn't make any sense. I generated some images. But that's the extent of it. I do think that it's okay. Like, if hypothetically AI didn't use the energy it uses, if there was like a model that was more energy efficient, I think that using generated stuff is about the same as using something you found off Google. You didn't make it, and I don't think you should claim any ownership of it. But if you use it as like a outside of the, I still don't like the promotion of it right now, but like hypothetically, I think it'd be fine to use in place of like a Google image. Like if it was just like whatever, I would avoid using it though. Whilst recording, were you wearing shoes? Well, I mean, I wasn't wearing shoes during the parts where I wasn't wearing shoes. I didn't even bring shoes with me to the paradox scene at the end. So I just was on, like, the whole time. It was just, that was the whole thing. Aries or Scrooge, what do you mean? I already explained that with the earlier question. It was a gimmick for Christmas Carol parody. What was some cut content from A World Without Wii Sports? Cut content from World Without Wii Sports. Do we have any of that? I doubt it. Most of the stuff, if it was cut, it doesn't exist anymore. Because we usually, like, I don't have the storage space on my computer to just have, like, every single thing saved from every possible, like, So this is listed under score or something, piano. I don't think I'm going to use this, so this is probably closest to cut content, is having a piano score in the background. Oh! Originally the show, this isn't really cut content at all. Originally the show was going to be, like, way back. Like 2020, the show was going to be called Butterfly Effects. I'm really happy I didn't go with this. It's such a cheesy name, but that did end up becoming the name of the song that Butts Butterfly sings, but because originally the concept of the show, like, is that you go to a different timeline where something else happened in the timeline's past, and that you see the effects of that. So it's like, oh, it's butterfly effects, but like that was not great. Yeah, I have some random. Oh wait, what's this one? Callback. Yeah, I have a bunch of little stuff like this. What's some? How does the timeline landline work? You travel any timeline you want with just the push of buttons. Now, how it works is think of how in the setting of time on the line, you can think of, like, if you have two pieces of paper on top of each other. These are 2D planes, right? The drawings on here, they only exist in this 2D plane. And they would never have any knowledge of this. But in the third dimension, it's actually a really short distance, like infinitely thin, right? And so popping into the other one is not actually that taking that much energy. So the timeline landline, it just hooks in, and it's it basically you just give coordinates for a specific timeline that are 6-digit numbers, and that's the ones within the known, like, there is planned to be, like, concept of, like, they also have a spatial code that would go before the 6 numbers to extend it even broader to even further timelines and so on, but yeah, so you do those, and then it's just like jumping between these infinitely thin, where it's instead of 2D dimensions, it's 3 dimensions stacked in the 4th dimension. And so, even though it seems like such a completed universe, you're actually not traveling that far at all. It's an infinitely thin layer of a 4th dimension. If you know about, like, 4th dimensional concepts like that, you'll understand what I'm saying. So in this setting, the timelines all exist as planes of a 4th dimension, as 3D planes within a 4th dimension, and so you're able to, and then further dimensions out would be, like, there is the concept of 5th dimension. It's like even broader, and so on and so forth, where you realize everything's actually a lot closer than you think. And that's pretty much it. It's just that you have these timelines and this locates them. Not as good as these are the old models. Timeline landlines. They're like your low end. The PLOT device, personal locator and omnidimensional transportation device, is very much a more fine-tuned version, where it does have a battery that needs to be charged rather than plugged in, and that can cause problems, as you can imagine, shenanigans where you run out of battery life and whatnot. That was actually why I was going to be stuck in the fast timeline, and as well as the second episode is going to be I ran out of charge for the PLOT device. And so that doesn't happen with the timeline line, but the PLOT device, you not only does a PLOT device let you transport to any timeline, you can also locate a specific person, which timeline they're in, basically. At least, unless there's something blocking the signal. What was the title of episode 2? Okay. So, the working title was... What did I have? Faster Than the Speed of Awesome. That's not great. The working title of Lead the Meerkats, I think it was just called Leading Like a Meerkat. So the two opposites. What's with the gourds? I don't know what you're talking about. What program do you use to make pixel art? Mostly Asprite, Aseprite, and that one's the one I use for pixel art. What was the hardest part of making episode 1? The fact that it took a year and a half, and so I was trying to make things look consistent, so the videos being taken out alternates a year, because I had to work with everyone's schedules, like the few people, the person. So behind the scenes secret, the amnesiac is played by 3 different people. Actually, that's not even a secret. I think I put that in the credits. The amnesiac is played by 3 different people throughout the episode. Because, it's just getting people to record was hard. How do you come up with the idea for Tie on the Line? And the Tie on the Line? Well, like I said, originally it was going to be called Butterfly Effects, but the idea was just, hey, I don't like most sci-fi shows, but what if I made a sci-fi type show that I liked? And it was basically a mixture of Scott the Woz with like, you know, timeline shenanigans and those kind of gimmicks, with some comedy and sci-fi and like mystery sort of elements added. The name Timeline, I was just thinking like, what when you have someone online? What if that was time and timeline and like, you know, why Wii Sports? I don't really have an answer for that. I came up with that, and the concept hit me. I was just like, oh, you know, we could do. What if the gimmick was like, oh, this timeline doesn't have Wii Sports, and the plot twist of like, no, saying sports isn't illegal. The version of me they thought I was is just a serial killer in that timeline. Because the only thing different in the timeline without Wii Sports is that Isaiah is a serial killer. Why did you decide there would be no time travel? I hate time travel. I think that it's narratively unfulfilling. I think that it doesn't make any sense. It's paradoxical in nature, and to the point where it just like I just can't get immersed in time. Now, here's the thing: you can do time travel with timeline traveling. It's just that you can't get rid of what there once was. So, like for example, if I jumped to a timeline that's like exactly the same as this one, except for like it's like a certain amount slower, like it's running slower relative to the other timelines, then then it would be like I go to the past and I can make a different decision now. And since I'm in that timeline, I wouldn't even notice it was going slower. But it's still, this timeline still exists, and any decision I made is still impacting that timeline. So it's not so with timeline travel, it's saying that any choice you make, it still matters. Like, you cannot undo it no matter what. You can go to a different timeline and make a different decision in that timeline, but whatever you did is still happening in this timeline. And that's what I prefer about timeline travel. It doesn't let you get out of any. It doesn't let you go Avengers style, let's just go back in time and undo the thing that happened. Like, you can't undo anything. You can go to a different timeline. You can run to a different timeline that doesn't have the consequences that but you can't undo any of your decisions. What were the best puns in the episode 2 script? I like a lot of puns. They're kind of just, you throw them in, you know. They're just kind of a bag you throw in. My favorite joke from that episode, though, honestly, wasn't a pun. It was I've got an exclusivity contract with unemployment. I still think that one's funny, like even 6 years later, or whatever, 5 years later after writing it. 5 or 6 years. I don't remember whether I wrote that in 2020 or 2021. What were the best... Oh, wait, I already read that one. How did you create Time Online? What? That's kind of a weird... I scripted it, I composed the songs for it, I sung the songs for it, I recorded it, I edited it. I mean, that's... Yeah, it's about what you'd expect. I have your email, ha ha ha. Well, you have my email. However could you have gotten that? Yeah, I saw that you found my email through unconventional means, but you can also just find my email right here. If you want to sponsor me for something or whatever, that's the email. I mean, it's in the channel description. Not in the channel description, it's in more info. So, yeah, I mean, congrats on finding it in a roundabout way, I guess. What was the best idea that you realized wouldn't really work out? Probably, I would say the best idea that didn't work out is the idea of doing episodes like once a month. I wanted it to be a consistent thing, and like, it's been several years. But I just didn't. The time, the money, the most of all, I guess the people helping is a big thing. I do pretty much all my projects alone. That's why the other stuff gets done and Timeline hasn't, because that one requires other people, and I'm not great with like the whole like socializing stuff. Even though I'm an extrovert, I'm a chronic extrovert, but I'm just not good at like convincing people to help me stuff. And I also feel bad about asking people to do stuff for me. What's the name of the song intro to episode 2? I think it's just called On the Road or something. Or it might have been called like Together We'll Go Far. It was just something like working title. What are some bloopers? I mean, I showed you like some of the stuff I had from the attempt at recording the second one. I don't really save those ones. I didn't really save. There wasn't really much in terms of bloopers except for just like messing up lines. On a completely unrelated note, squids. Well, let me take the opportunity, since you mentioned squids. Little clay splash the squid. Now, anyone who... I should probably actually just come out and say something about it. But I've been working on an indie game for like 3 years, and it's still really early in development. I'm very slow with the project, but I am going to be having the first playable boss fight out, hopefully not too long. And that game is one of the things that my time's been going to instead of Time on the Line. And that's big project, very big. It's been happening since, gosh, I started working on it before even the 3-year time. Like, that was like, real long time. But yeah, so on the topic of squids, I have a game, an indie game, so you can check that out. It's called Cephalopossel. It's about a squid apostle, basically, in an ocean game, in an ocean setting that's basically Metroidvania meets Super Paper Mario for game mechanics. Where are the pair of docks? Moon Lake, Washington. That's most I'll give you. What was an idea you really wanted in the series, but for one reason or another, it was scrapped? I feel like that's kind of similar to this one. But an idea you wanted in the series, I guess. I think originally I wanted to have episodes with more art styles, I guess. Like, where some timelines had like completely different art styles. And again, not completely off the table, but just not really realistic with like, without more funding and more like a bigger like group of people working on it and like time on my end. What was your favorite scene from Time on the Line? Going for entire scenes, I gotta go Box of Rotting Gourds, just because of how weird and fun that was to record. What are the best deleted scenes of Time on the Line? There wasn't any deleted scenes because the whole thing was scripted out beforehand what I wanted to happen. So I didn't really have anything like left over that I had to trim out. I'm not a professional movie maker. Like, there was definitely some stuff that could have been trimmed out of that, to be sure. Like that, first off, that Butts Butterfly scene was like way longer than it probably needed it to be. But yeah, there's nothing that was like explicitly deleted as a scene. Were there any jokes you wanted to add but you couldn't because you get demonetized? No. I have a very clean sense of humor. Sometimes, occasionally, I'll make a pun that's like inappropriate. But I'm not really like eager to like. I mean, if you've seen, I think the most horrifically gross I've been on YouTube is some of my YouTube poops. Because it's just kind of part of the genre, and even then, I would say on the terms of YouTube poops, my stuff is like way cleaner than most YouTube poops. I'd say I'm about as clean as Jimmy Davis, if you've heard of that YouTube pooper. But yeah, why didn't you include the lyrics to Credits on Strike on soundtrack? Because I like the track without the lyrics, and I wasn't singing that good, and it feels weird to listen to outside the context of the episode. The show being a game review. So the show isn't really... I included game review, but the show really, the games are more just, a context, to the game, those were kind of a context, and not all the episodes were about games, I was gonna say, but they're kind of a context for the timeline traveling and just random weird nerdy subjects to do timeline stuff about, right? I'm not a very good game reviewer. I don't know much about... I mean, I develop games. I play games. But when it comes to reviewing, I don't know. I don't know what to say about them. Just, I like this. Oh, I don't like this. And also the characters, the character of Isaiah from Timeline 343434 does not represent my own opinions, because he does not like Wii Sports, and he also doesn't like other stuff that I like. I mean, a lot of it's just what would be a funny thing to say about this, That's about it. But yeah, like I mentioned the other Lead the Meerkats, Megamind, Mega Team Unite. I was gonna do maybe a Chick Boom episode at some point. What was Wii-less Isaiah doing before main Isaiah went to... He's not Wii-less. He's Wii Sportsless. And what was he doing? I mean, he was killing people with sports equipment. I guess that itch to do sports that he would have used on Wii Sports went to murder. No, he was a serial killer. Yeah, that's explicitly stated. That's why he was getting a death sentence. So that's what he was up to. What was Butterfly's timeline traveling device? So his timeline traveling device... I never showed it off, but he doesn't have this. This would have to be in a flashback or something. He doesn't have his device with him functioning. Or it might have been a malfunctioning version of the device, because no, timeline landline doesn't come with you. So no, he didn't have it with him. He had a makeshift transmitter with him in that bunker. But he's got a rotary phone. This was the oldest timeline landline that he invented. That's why his timeline the original version of his timeline before he got trapped was 000000. How old is Isaiah in the show? He goes to school apparently and works. He has an exclusivity contract on employment. So, he was roughly about my age. School was meant to be vague. It wasn't meant to be explicitly high school. It wasn't meant to be explicitly college. It wasn't meant to explicitly be driving school. It was just part of the song. It wasn't really relevant. I would say age-wise, in the first episode, he was probably 18. If I did renew it one, if I continue, I'm debating whether I should have a new pilot episode or just say this is in the future after many adventures have occurred, like a flash forward. Because, I mean, I'm 22 now, and I don't exactly have the same figure that would be kind of. I mean, I'm happy about that, but it would be weird to explain. Just all of a sudden, lost 70 pounds, and my hair's longer. I'd obviously I'd do something. I'd have to either. So I don't. But if I continue it, he would likely be either retconned or just time forward to be 21, 22, my age, I guess. Why did the series go into stasis? Well, like I've mentioned, first off, I think one of the big things that screwed everything over was that second episode that I went, because I bought $100 worth of props. I don't know if you saw in the clips, there were some props, and a bunch of stuff to take with me to Texas to record this episode there, and the recording getting messed up, that kind of made me go and that kind of rattled me and made it hard to want, because I don't have a desert here to record that episode in. So then I tried to do a continuation with the different continuation where it was the racing, and that one just kind of the getting people to record with me and not being able to really work out how to green screen and make the car in that universe that I wanted to do kind of messed everything up. I did record all the gameplay. I posted on Pixel Isaiah one of the playthroughs of Fast Racing League, but I recorded all versions of the game from the Wii version to Wii U to Switch. I bought all of them, and I played all of them all the way through. And I recorded all of it. But yeah, I mean, finally, how's your life been going, Isaiah? I mean, mentally I'm better now. Physically I'm better now. I don't have as much time now to do stuff. I would like to think I'm a better singer now, but I haven't done a lot of singing. I just do the occasional thing. I'd like to think I'm better at some stuff now, but like I mentioned, I'm working on any game. I have D&D campaign I'm going to be starting up. I have already finished one on Goblins and Goblins channel. It's in the about section. It's in the channels section of Super Isaiah, and that project. What other project was? Oh, I have another game. I'm working on 2 indie games. That kind of on the side. And I mean that's pretty much it. I mean I'm a caregiver now. I work as a caregiver. That's the other thing. I have a job now. Spoilers. What was the finale going to be like? Who really was the amnesiac? Why did they get amnesia? What did they do to get that sentence? Okay, I'm not going to reveal much because I might want to continue, but I will say every single one of these questions are tied together. That's what I'll give you. They're all tied together. The finale was going to delve into it was going to be built up. I think that it was going to be revealed to the audience bits of it before the finale, but it was going to be revealed to Isaiah from Timeline 34 in the finale, and the finale is going to be them working through that because it's going to be very with the situation with the amnesiac. Isaiah finding that out is going to be very heavy, and so the episode's going to be dramatic. And one of the reasons I'm kind of happy that if I am able to continue this, one of the reasons I'd be happy that I didn't continue till now is because I don't think I would be able to do as good of a job acting as I might want. I mean, I'm still going to not do. I still am not that great an actor, but I think I could do drama a little bit better now. But yeah, I mean, so that's the answers to all the questions in this document. I hope that was suitable for you. But yeah, I mean, hopefully I'll be able to continue at some point. If not, I mean, I've considered doing like a comic or something. I don't know. It's really hard to find time to do stuff. But yeah. So that's it, and I'll see y'all on the flip side.